President Trump unveiled his budget proposal for fiscal year 2026. We've all been anticipating this, and the proposal makes budget cuts to non-defense spending by about $163 billion, while, of course, providing significant support for our nation's military. And some people are saying it's not enough cuts, though. The budgetary proposal also advances a lot of President Trump's agenda by realigning budgets in other departments to foster security and American prosperity. So how has this proposal been received as it's coming out and people are learning more about it, and what will be its impact? Well, joining me now to discuss this is Congressman Mark Harris, great friend of Family Research Council. He now represents the 8th Congressional District of North Carolina. Congressman Harris, welcome back to Washington Watch.
It's great to be with you on this Friday afternoon.
Yes, happy Friday. You made it through another busy week. So let's talk about the budget proposal from the president. What's your overall reaction to it to this point?
Well, to be honest with you, it came out and dropped this morning, early, and we've really been going through the numbers throughout the day. And to be honest, I think it's a real positive step in the right direction. That's what we've been saying as we've looked at it. It's really the president's agenda that's being unfolded here. I mean, the previous administration, as well as I do, they treated the federal budget like it was a slush fund and using it for all kinds of things. And the president is really stepping up and putting forth a budget that really, if we're able to move this through Congress, is going to be of historic proportion.
Now, why do you say that? What are some of the big ticket items, so to speak, that the president addresses in his budget?
Well, when you start looking at the things that he's cutting, I think it's $70 million in these DEI type of things that had been there to somehow get teachers involved in with students and really just sort of adopting these anti-American ideologies, I think is the best way to describe it. And pulling money back from that is going to be a big thing. Of course, you've seen the USAID things that he's clawing back as well. Environmental justice, which is really just getting the American taxpayer off the hook for the $100 million that we've been having to pay for the Biden administration's progressive Democrat agenda. And really those kind of things are just a few of the things that kind of pop out at you at the beginning. But again, anytime you're able to make these kind of significant savings in spending, I think it's a major win. And from being in Washington yourself, that's not an easy place to claw back spending.
No, it certainly isn't. It seems like when you open the door to a little bit of spending, it is so hard to get that spending back out the door later. So this really is a golden opportunity, no pun intended. But it's an opportunity that we certainly can't squander. I think from what little I am picking up from this, that it seems to be dealing with spending that really contradicts the will of ordinary working Americans. I mean, there's just so much waste, and DOGE has certainly been finding so much wasteful spending as well. So it's encouraging. Now, let me ask you this, Congressman. I think people are confused largely with the difference of the reconciliation bill and the budget that the president just put forward. Number one, how is this budget going to impact reconciliation? But secondly, can you kind of, for our viewers and listeners, kind of explain the difference of the two?
Well, obviously, we're looking at a 10-year span in reconciliation. We're looking at a 10-year budget. And again, I've talked with you before and with Tony before about the reconciliation process, which allows people for us to be able to move things with only 51 votes in the Senate. Where we don't have to hold out for that 60-vote threshold. It's only spending. And so reconciliation allows us to look over the long haul at the 10 years. And again, the framework that we've been working off in the House is looking at $1.5 to $2 trillion in spending cuts, but it's also making the president tax cuts long term. It's going to extend them, even make them permanent. So those are the things that are going to come along with reconciliation. And all this past week, I've been involved in reconciliation markups. On the Judiciary Committee, we went through that on Wednesday. On the Tuesday before that, I went through the reconciliation markup with education and workforce. And again, we're finding savings or areas where we really need to just reconcile and get our budget back to where it needs to be. That's the one big, beautiful bill that the president is continuing to move forward on. What we're hearing in this budget today is for budget year 2026. So, I mean, look, when you look at $163 billion that he is finding in savings, that's going to take us back to pre-COVID levels spending. And that's what I think, again, as you alluded to earlier, American people recognize that during COVID, and particularly during the last 4 years of the Biden administration, there was so much out of control spending that somewhere we've got to get a cap back on this. We've got to get the horse back in the barn, if you will, because it had gotten so out of control. And of course, we're facing this $37 trillion national debt, and we've got to bend the curve on that. So the president is taking steps exactly like he said he was going to do. And one of the things that I think your listeners will greatly appreciate is there's $6 million in his budget that's being cut that have been going to NGOs to kind of take the pro-abortion message around the world. And every pro-life individual should be grateful that we're finding this money that's going to be cut out of the upcoming budget that the previous administration was using to just propagate death sentences of unborn children around the world.
Very, very encouraging. Congressman Harris, let me ask you about this, if we can switch gears real quickly. The National Day of Prayer yesterday, another word of encouragement came from the president on several things that he said, but starting the Religious Liberty Commission through executive order. What do we know about this commission? And as a former pastor yourself, what do you hope will be accomplished from this commission?
Well, I had the blessing of being there yesterday at the signing of the commission, which was sort of the centerpiece of the whole National Day of Prayer event. I think when he laid out the individuals that are going to be serving on it and really the purpose behind it, I mean, he is really recognizing, this president, that it's important that all Americans, and because of our faith, we have a right to live every day, live and worship and work in ways that are consistent with our faith and not be punished for them, not be investigated by a Justice Department for the things that we believe and the things that we hold dear in our faith. And this president has made it clear that at the White House, faith engagement has an open door. And I just think the whole commission idea that is trying to, again, let people know around the world that in the United States of America, folks are free to live and work in a way that is consistent with their faith. And the government is not going to be coming in and trying to restrict that. And I just think that's a major message that this president represents. It's a major message that he's delivering. And I'm excited about it. You could just tell there seems to be a new spirit. A lot of leaders from the Christian community and really all faith communities, the rabbi that spoke yesterday, are all there recognizing that this president is serious about supporting religious liberty and religious freedom in this country.
Well, it's such an about face from what we have experienced over the last 4 years in particular, and it is so refreshing to people all across the country to have a president that is leading the way to protect religious liberty, and we're all encouraged by that. Congressman Mark Harris from North Carolina, always an honor to have you on the program. We're so grateful to see you there in Congress and already stepping up, doing great work. Thank you. Have a great weekend.
Jody, thank you. God bless you.